Let's get to that Keystone vote in the House. Congressman Bill Johnson, Republican from Ohio, joins us now. Congressman, the president argues the pipeline won't create that many jobs, not a bonanza for jobs, bad for the environment, he says, and it won't lower gas prices. Would you want to address any of those points?
Absolutely, Stuart. You know, the State Department's own studies themselves indicate that about 42,000 plus jobs, both direct and indirect, are going to be created by the Keystone XL pipeline. It is supported by labor groups. It is supported by the majority of the American people. It is nonsensical for the president to try and say that this is not a job creator. And that it's going to add to climate change. I mean, it's been 6 years now since we started working this Keystone XL pipeline issue, and report after report after report, including the State Department's report, says that it has very little environmental impact. This is the right thing to do for the American people, and the president needs to understand what it means to put America first.
We hear that it will pass easily in the House. It will pass in the Senate, but it will not get the 60 votes needed for cloture, I should say. And even if it does, the president will veto it. Is this an example of two things? The power of the environmental movement, and two, the thwarting of the will of the people by the president of the United States. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, and let me address the second part of that first. This president has demonstrated consistently over the past years, Stuart, that his method of governing is his pen and his telephone, not working with Congress, the voice of the American people. That is a big problem. And it's one I think that the Congress coming in January is going to have to deal with. And I can tell you that the mood here is to absolutely deal with it.
Yes, Speaker Boehner said he's going to fight this tooth and nail. It sounded like it was a declaration of war from both sides, the president versus the Congress. I mean, briefly, you agree with that? It's war?
Well, I believe that it is very, yeah, I could say that. You know, the president has demonstrated that he's willing to work around Congress, ignore the will of the American people, and that is just not the way our system was designed. Our chief executive is supposed to implement the laws and enforce the laws that are passed by Congress, not to unilaterally go his own direction like this president has consistently tried to do.
Congressman, I want to ask you about Jonathan Gruber, the Obamacare architect who's been caught on tape several times calling the American voter stupid. Your colleague, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who actually said she doesn't know who Gruber is. Listen to this for a second.
I don't know who he is. He didn't help write our bill. And so, with all due respect to your question, you have a person who wasn't writing our bill commenting on what was going on when we were writing the bill, who has withdrawn some of the statements that he made. So let's put him aside.
Well, Ms. Pelosi did cite Gruber by name, cite his research when she was selling Obamacare 5 years ago. I want your comment on former Speaker Pelosi, please, Congressman.
Well, you've got to remember that this is the former Speaker of the House that said that we have to pass the bill before we can find out what's in it. I'm not surprised that she's now trying to deny that she even knew this Jonathan Gruber, but the truth is in what the American people think, and the American people, Stuart, have said consistently that they do not support this law, and we've got to restore control and choice about health care to the American people and take it out of the hands of bureaucrats in Washington.
It's going to be a tough 2 years, isn't it? You've got the pipeline, you've got amnesty, you've got Obamacare, several others, the climate deal with China. You're going head-to-head with the president. It's going to be a rough 2 years.
It's going to be a rough 2 years, but guess what, Stuart? We've got some help in the Senate coming right around the corner. So.
Okay. Congressman Bill Johnson, I'm sorry to cut you off there. I'm almost out of time. Republican, Ohio, Bill Johnson, thanks for joining us, sir. Do appreciate it.
Thank you, Stuart.
Yes, sir. Last hour.